What up, YouTube? DTD Nas here. Got a deck profile for you today. Same old build, or same deck that I've had the last couple videos on. It was a TG Flamvell. The build is finalized and the build has been completed. Everything, main extra side, is all done. Obviously, at the moment, I'm borrowing a few cards from my friends, but this is ultimately what the build will end up being. At least I'm about 95% sure this is what it'll end up being. There might be a couple things I try and change, but for now, this is pretty much it. So we'll just go through the deck, and we'll see. You guys can get a look at it. So, first of all, triple Fire Dog. Obviously, this is your main engine. Your Fire Dog plays, lets you sync her off very quickly. For those of you who don't know what this card does, it's a 1900 beater, 4-star. When it destroys a monster by battle, you can search out a fire monster. Search out and special summon a fire monster with 200 or less attack. Basically, you go for your Flamvell Magicians. Now, I find that the 3-to-2 ratio of Fire Dog to Magician is good because the Magicians are dead when you draw them, really. Unless you already have some sort of a setup on the board. You really want to be searching them out of the deck or having them in the graveyard. So a 3-to-2 ratio is nice to have. So that's your Flamvell engine. That's about it. After that, you go into the TG engine. So we have two TG Striker, two TG Warwolf, and then two TG Rush Rhinos. The pretty straightforward lineup. I mean, some people play three Warwolves or something along those lines. I don't absolutely feel that that's absolutely necessary because it's just an extra card that ends up being a lot more dead to you when you draw it. This deck is more so about having field presence and field protection and setup, as opposed to having hand presence. So when you end up top decking a lot after you set up and go off. So top decking this, if you get stopped, doesn't necessarily help you out a lot. So having the 6 here is good, gets you enough an even amount of searches, and it still lets you combo off, lets you synchro easily. So there's the whole TG engine. Next, playing triple Tengu. Tengu just sets up so many plays. It's just a very good all-around staple card in pretty much every deck, or a lot of decks anyways. 90% of them. It lets you maintain field presence. Obviously, opening up with them, more than one of them in your hand, just kind of sucks, but it doesn't happen very often. So having these to maintain field presence is absolutely key with this deck, considering that that's all it does is have board presence. So these are absolutely a must. Double Raikou. Raikou I found is absolutely stellar in this build because it gets things in the graveyard. It mills a lot of your Flamevells in the graveyard, so to set up some plays for later. It lets you blow up something in case, like it lets you blow up one of their big boss monsters, something along those lines. It just helps reset the board and helps you maintain the field presence. Gale. A Gale is really great to get over Stardust, gets over the Gachi, does a lot of work. Lets you set up a lot of sweet Black Rose plays and things along those lines. Caius, because Caius is a boss monster. He is the big boss creature in the main deck, really. Just being able to remove and get over a lot of things is absolutely fantastic. Getting over Stardust with this and removing it is just fantastic. Double Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler stops so many decks out there, stopping Dark World, stopping Fairies, stopping everything. Plants, it just stops a lot of things. It's all around a very great card to have in the deck. It also allows you to just go off and make your Trishula plays really easily. If you have if you happen to have just 2 4-stars chilling on the board or something like that. It's a very versatile card, but the only thing is just top decking it kind of sucks, but other than that, it's still a very nice card. You figure out to use these when you need to, so that you don't really end up having to use them or like you don't end up really top decking them a lot. And then just the Gores for just that extra protection, having that extra field presence obviously is very good. I like it more than the Tricodia that I used to be playing. It gives you a little bit more stability. Having the extra token on the field as well as this also allows you to combo into to 8 stars quite well. That's it for the spell line or for the monster lineup. It's a pretty hefty monster lineup. I want to say it's like 20 or so. I want to say. So that's a pretty solid lineup there. Going on to the spells, we have triple rekindling. Obviously, you set up so many plays with getting your Flamvells in the graveyard. So if you happen to have if you just go triple rekindling, you got triple 3 8 stars instantly, which is really great. Or you can go to Stardust and a Utopia, whatever you feel is necessary at the time. But having the rekindlings is super duper key. I end up signing one out though, signing one out in the game 2, but it ends up all working out. But triple rekindling, super duper awesome on that. Then we have what I consider to be the Pocket Brigade, double 2 duality, 1 avarice. Obviously, this is great to recycle Tengus back into the deck, to recycle TGs back into the deck, to recycle a lot of things back in. You don't want to recycle the Flamvells. Maybe you maybe can recycle the Magicians if you get them in the grave early enough. You still have all your Flamvells to go your Fire Dogs to go through in the main. So this might but this card's got a lot of versatility. Same with this card, lets you just kind of set up and gives you that board presence. I guess if it's nice to get a Tengu off of that or something. Double Lance, obviously. When the focus of the deck is to get out the Flamvell Magicians with your Fire Dogs and stuff along those lines, you want to have you want to have assurance that you're going to win your battles, the battles you pick to fight with the Fire Dog. So having the Lance is really nice to have. Just attacking over something big and then lancing over it makes it a guaranteed. You have a Magician on the board for sure. Mind Control, because it's broken, also lets you set up many plays. Book Moon, all the staple stuff. Monster Born, Dark Hole, and Heavy Storm. Going into the traps, we have 1 Horn of the Phantom Beast, because this card is really good. Lets you this card does help you with some hand presence, and it could be the one card that you do need to win the game. But having it also works with Fire Dog it's another way to pump up Fire Dog and make him that much better to get out your your Magicians if you can synchro for for 6 in another, or for 8 in another way. So this is a great card. Torrential and 2D Prisons, enough protection. This is a good amount of protection. I don't play Mirror Force because Starlight Road's actually floating around again these days. It's a pretty terrible card to be hitting, so having just the 1 TT is enough of a board wipe to still avoid the Starlight Road. And then the D-Prisons just get over pretty much everything. And then lastly, we got the Solemn Brigade, 2 warnings and the Judgment. So obviously just your staple protection. So that's the main deck. Going to the extra deck. I got a 1 Android and 1 TG Wonder Magician. Only 5 stars needed to play. Wonder Magician's great to pop back rows, single out back rows. Android's good to just maintain some presence and gain some life points. Next, then we have Iron Chain Dragon, obviously good to get the mills off. Brio, because Brio's good. Gaia Knight to get over to Stardusts. Ancient Fairy Dragon, so believe it or not, this card is actually getting quite good. Again, because of Dark Worlds being played now, it's good to stop the gates of the Underworld plays, so it helps out quite a bit, and also lets you maintain board presence yourself, allowing you to special summon, or normal summon again? I forget which one it was. Yeah, special summon, a level 4 monster from your hand, so it does let you go off and get another Stardust off or something along those lines. So this card's actually going to be coming back, I would imagine, in in a lot of decks because it does stop a lot of the Dark World plays. Black Rose for those emergencies. Colossal Fighter for the hero decks because they are still decently prevalent. I mean, considering, I mean, they're going to be becoming a lot prevalent. I still see them a lot in my locals, anyways. So the hero decks are still out there. This does help. Same with the 6Ms. Double Stardust because you can make Stardust a lot, and it's nice to have 2 Stardusts on the board. It gives you that extra layer of protection. Trishula, Decisive Armor. Decisive Armor is super duper good for playing against the Lightsworn or Agent matchup. I've said it before that this card's really, really good in some of my other videos, so it's still really awesome. It's just a big beater as well as it has a boss effect. Double Utopia, because Utopia slows down the game in those rare times where you have just kind of bad hands, slower hands. Having a Utopia out just allows you to get that extra couple turns in to set up and have some board presence. And then lastly, Steel Swarm Roach. The Roach is just there for just in case something big goes off, Future Fusion, something like that. But if you anticipate your opponent's going to be making a big play with a big monster, you can have this, and this will do a lot of good for you. And then going into the side deck, sorry. Side deck, we have Triple King Tiger Wengu. This card is just a boss monster, man. I don't know. This card's really, really good. Does let you set up a lot. It slows down your opponent, obviously. The decks decide this in against, it does stop the tour guides. It's a pretty solid card. Also allowing you, I accidentally misplayed. I minused myself one day, and I summoned a Magician off summoning the King Tiger, and it dropped to the graveyard, and then I just top decked the Rekindling for the win. Obviously, not a good play, but it does work. And then King Tiger is just a big beast itself, so obviously, yeah, this card's really, really good. A nice, great choice for a side. Thanks to my buddy Glenn for lending me these. Cyber Dragon, Grammel, Akaiku, Spirit Reaper. These cards obviously just to stall the game out some more. Cyber Dragon for board presence. Haiku to allow your units to get some of the decks to focus around the graveyard to slow down their plays. And then these two just to stall the game out. We got Double Smashing Ground because these cards are just really, this card's really good. Obviously, back row hate, or 2 MSTs for back row hate, because it is necessary. Doubled Leeching the Light for light monster hate. Obviously, this card's just, it makes plays, it makes things happen. It just swarms over BLS. It does a lot of great work. And then a double compulsory evac to get over the Stardust Dragons and things along those lines. Getting synchros off the field, getting Xyz off the field. So yeah, that's the whole thing, guys. TG Flamvell deck. Let me know what you think about the final build. It's ultimately done. Just a couple things I'm trying to possibly think about teching. Plague Spreader in here, Card Trooper in here. I don't know, but that's what I got so far. So thanks for watching, guys, and rate, comment, subscribe.